It's Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher, and I recently did a couple of videos. One on why most people do not want to become more conscious, and another on why people do not want to be sovereign. And in the woke, the red pill, awakened communities, the common attitude towards your average person, your average brainwashed sheep, muppet, whatever you want to call them, is usually an attitude of condemnation. And I, too, usually express that attitude as well. But there are not a whole lot of people making content on that mindset and unpacking what exactly about the sheep mentality is so despicable to one who is in the woke mindset. So I thought I would take a stab at it today in relationship to sovereignty and consciousness, of what the attitude of a sheep is. Well, let's look at sovereignty, power. So a sovereign being is owning their power. They're owning the light, the dark, the pleasure, the pain. A sheep is one who outsources that power. Now, they'd like to think that they are owning their pleasure, but in truth, how do they outsource this? Well, usually the source of pleasure for a sheep would be celebrities, public figures, entertainers, consumer goods they purchase and identify with, vacations, activities, external activities that they place value in, things of that nature. Now, pain, how would they outsource their pain? Well, the pain they would usually attribute to politicians, corrupt leaders, criminals, those with deviant thought from societal norms. Like I would probably be considered a source of pain, a pain teacher, if you will, by a sheep. And as I spoke of in the sovereignty video, those on the path of sovereignty are owning their pain. And this pain that I'm creating, I proudly own. But that is the basic theme, this outsourcing of pleasure and pain to something outside of themselves. This is a common attribute of the herd mentality, of the sheep, of the muppets, that we find a little despicable. Now, here's the real challenge. Usually the stuff that triggers us is a reflection of something inside of us. So one who would consider themselves woke and they're getting heavily triggered by the sheep, I invite you to dig into that a little bit deeper and maybe think, how is a sheep quality being expressed in me at this moment? Something that I am intentionally creating a separation from. How is that part of me? Because truthfully, if you can see the sheep and you just label it, but you're not affected by it, then you have reached yet another dimension of the power, the sovereignty that we are on our paths to experience and express in this world. So, hope this just gets something turning in you. This makes you think, makes you feel. And I invite you to, instead of strictly having an attitude of condemnation for sheep, maybe have a little compassion every now and then. And I know this is not easy. It's truly not easy for me, because some of the time, maybe this is it. Part of the reason why we have a hard time finding compassion for the sheep and why we're triggered by that mentality is many people who have gotten on this path have felt oppressed. We have felt victimized by this mentality. But again, sovereignty is about stepping into power. It's the opposite of being a victim. So anytime we're triggered by the sheep mentality, then we're falling back into victimhood. This is Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher, and I hope these words of wisdom reach the few, the proud, the strong that are on this path. Peace.